ideologically change your minds to accept Western civilization as better than your own culture. That was done through your introduction to literature. So it was introduced as a discipline in India and then in Sri Lanka. So these details are kind of important, no, for you to understand this. Otherwise you think English literature is in Britain. No. Those works were used, but the discipline started in India, right? So anyway, from the beginning, writers of English in Sri Lanka belong to this elite privileged class. Even if you use English, whether you come from a fluent background or not, that elitism is attached to you. That happens because of the nature or the status attached to English nowadays. And then if I move quickly on to post-independence period, right after independence, what happens? This whole idea of nationalism comes in. So you have to write about your nation, your culture. You have to sort of break the bounds of English and the colonial mindset. So this whole nationalistic element came in. But in this sense, women writers had three hurdles to jump over. What were the three hurdles? First thing is the problem of elitism. They were supposed to be the elite, so they were not seen as being really part of the Sri Lankan culture. So they had to contest that and really be a part of Sri Lankan culture to be legitimate writers. The other thing was they already, because of their education by the British, they had some kind of a colonial mindset, which basically means you look up to the West as being the better civilization than your own. They had to contest against that and find their own path, as it were. Third one, they had to compete against male writers who were supposed to be more legitimate. So back there in Austen's time and right now and during 1948 in Sri Lanka, it was the same case. Women who were writing had to compete against so many things, right? And if you want further information about Sri Lankan writing in English by women, especially in relation to Anne Ranasinghe and other people, you can refer to these two books. If you have the time, that is, don't panic. If you have the time only. This is by Yasmin Gunaratna. It's called Celebrating Sri Lankan Women's English Writing. Celebrating Sri Lankan Women's English Writing, Volume 2. And then there's this volume